My name is Mark Howitt. I'm a documentary filmmaker, a musician. I operate a record label. I'm what you would call an activist, and I'm the founder of the World Public Union. I've been creating documentaries since 2009, the first one being The Formation of Resistance, and then it was followed by 2012 Revolution, and then an 8-hour segment about assassinations called Evidence of Murder, which was later split into individual documentaries based on each case that was investigated in the film, or in the series, sorry. And then after that, I made a couple other documentaries, some of my more well-known work, which includes the James Holmes Conspiracy, Sandy Hook, the documentary, Eye of the Illuminati, and more recently, NWO Domino Effect. Based off the information that I was researching and investigating to create these documentaries, I learned a lot of information about the government and corporations, the military, intelligence services, and basically what's going on around the world. And I was trying to piece together what I was seeing to try to figure it out and try to understand the agenda and what was going on in the world. And because of what I was learning, I decided to start a group called the World Public Union. And this idea came about in late 2010, 2011, and I finally decided to start it. What it is a group of unions, not government unions, but publicly operated unions of people around the world that are aware of these issues and want to make a difference on a local level and therefore on a global level as well. I've been a musician as well for a long time, since 2000. The first band I was ever in was in 1997, actually. So I've been doing that for quite some time, and I actually started my own record label and was signing bands, and I've toured the United States and Canada a few times with one of the bands I was in called Woven Ancestry. But I was also signing bands, and the economy was really hard to deal with, especially when you're a musician and you're trying to help out other musicians and get them on the road to promote their music. Essentially though, the music industry has been on a decline for the last few years. Nobody's really buying CDs anymore. People are downloading their music, and oftentimes they're downloading it for free. And I've never been the type of person to want to profit off somebody, put it that way. Everything I've ever done was essentially at cost or making very little money just to put back into the business and operate it. And I was finding that at the end of the year, when I'd have to do my taxes, I was losing lots of money. More so because people aren't buying CDs anymore, and it's hard to send bands on tour. So I would cut costs and I would go on tour with them and sell merchandise. I would actually book the whole tour. Since I've been a teenager, I've been a DIY kind of person. I've tried to do everything myself to cut costs. This is because I was homeless. I lived on the streets for quite some time and was really struggling to get by because of the world that we're a part of. And it was particularly cruel to me when I was younger. But I'm not gonna say that I'm a special person or significant in any way, shape, or form, because I know a lot of people have went through harder times than I have. But I just want to let you guys know that I've been through some hard times, and I know what people are going through from a personal level, and just looking at it outside the box, looking in, I see what's going on, which is why I've done what I've done. I was really focused on music in my earlier years, but then when I started making documentaries and researching on important global issues, and I started learning about the corruption that was going on, I decided to essentially give up music and focus my life on activism and creating awareness and trying to make a difference in the world any way I could. So I was making documentary films to do this, to get the information out there, and I realized that that's only half the battle. Knowing is half the battle. The other half is action or activism and doing something about it and actually trying to make change, which is why the idea for the World Public Union came up. In the beginning, I was living with roommates who helped me implement a Facebook network but Facebook was kind of trying to suppress us, saying that we're spamming people and stuff, when we were just trying to network and outreach in as many places of the world as we could, so that we could connect and become one unit, essentially, of just transferring information, making sure that on a local level and global level that certain global issues are addressed and actually attempted to change. Currently, as of 2013, we have approximately 190 local World Public Unions around the world. A lot of them have administrators and people on the ground there locally, spreading the information and gathering with others, trying to make a difference on a local level. However, several of the World Public Unions were started just to plant a seed in that area, so that when somebody does come along that wants to contribute, they can be put as administrator and really get the ball rolling there. So we kind of set up a whole networking system, and a lot of websites have tried to suppress us. Pages have been blocked, they don't show up in feeds. Personally, on my own Facebook that I use for the webmaster and to upkeep the network that we've built on social websites like Facebook, that profile has been blocked. YouTube and my YouTube videos, anybody who's aware of my documentaries could probably attest to the anomalies that they see. Sometimes they block my videos and then it comes back later. A lot of my documentaries have been suppressed by YouTube, where the audio is muted, and they claim it's because of copyright claims, but if you look at the videos and the parts that they're claiming copyrights on, the same videos or the same audio files or whatever it is available all throughout YouTube, and it's not blocked. So they're pinpointing my videos and blocking them so that people don't see the information and learn what I've learned. And the whole reason I do what I do is to teach others, and it's really hard to teach others when there's websites blocking you and you're not getting coverage because of that. So it's really been a great struggle to get this information out there to people. And since 2009, even earlier than that, I've really been active in trying to spread awareness as much as I can. And it's been an uphill battle, really. Anybody who knows what's going on in the world knows that we face governments, we face corporations, we face legal systems, we face all sorts of obstacles that are in our way, designed specifically to suppress us and make us not heard. So I've recently came up with an idea. Actually, it's been planned for quite some time. Since 2011, even I've been thinking about this idea, but now I feel it's finally time to do it, to get it done, and to make it a reality. On Wednesday, July 17th, I will be leaving my life behind. I have a loving wife and 2 beautiful children whom I love very much, and they're the world to me. But there is a world out there that is in need of help. And I've decided to leave what I've established behind and spread awareness however I can, and by doing so, I hope to meet with other people, especially administrators for World Public Unions that we have set up in certain areas, and establish greater networking. They can't suppress me when I'm physically in a city talking to somebody, so I plan on going on a sort of tour. I've toured before with the bands I was in, but this is a different kind of tour. This is essentially a way for me to get out there and spread the information and talk with others and network and really build up a solid formation of people that are aware of what's going on and want to make a difference. I plan on walking across Canada from Sudbury to the east coast of Canada. I'll have to hitchhike on major highways because you can be charged or taken in by police if you're caught walking on major highways like the 400, 401, etc. So I will have to hitchhike through some of these areas to get to the major cities that I'll be going to. But I currently live in Sudbury, Ontario, with my wife and 2 children. And recently the economy is, as everybody can feel and see, is really taking a major decline, and Canada has taken the steps to make sure that the banks and everything can be remain intact through bail-ins. So my wife recently lost her job. She was working there for quite some time, and she got laid off because the company couldn't afford to pay her, and they've been laying off other employees as well. I've been an independent entrepreneur, I guess you could say, for quite some time. I'm trying to get the music stuff going and make documentaries. I have some of them available on DVD just because the information was being suppressed on YouTube, and I wanted to make sure and ensure that the information was still available to people no matter what happens. So a lot of people have bought DVDs off me. I've sent them out to them. I don't charge a lot for them. Like I said, I'm not really trying to make a profit off anything. I'm just trying to spread awareness and do whatever I can with this life and this body that I've been given to make a difference in the world. So I've planned what I'm calling the March of Freedom. And as I said, I'll be walking across Canada to the East Coast. The original plan was to go to BC, Vancouver, from Sudbury. But that is almost 4,000 kilometers, and walking that distance would likely not be a good idea, and it would take a very, very long time to do so. And there's less major cities on that route. There's not less, but they're more spread apart. So it would take longer distances to get to those major areas to spread awareness. But on eastern part of Canada, everything's clustered together, and we have the capital, Ottawa. There's all these major cities on the east part of Canada, so I'll be starting there and going to meet with people and discuss things. So if anybody lives in Eastern Canada and they would like to get a hold of me for an interview or just to discuss things, maybe we could set up a rally in your area when I get there. That would be great. Essentially, between major cities, I'll be backpacking, and I'll be bringing a tent along with me so that I could sleep on the land, crown land in the bush, and I'll be living off the land essentially. I'm taking very little money with me. Actually, I have $75, and that $75 I'll need to buy a backpack and a one-man tent. So I'm looking before I leave. Today's Monday, and I'm leaving on Wednesday, so I'm going to try to get that equipment before I leave so that I have it. But when I leave, I'll be going to North Bay. I have a friend there who might still be there. I'm not 100% sure, but from there I'm going to go down south and head towards Toronto and Oshawa, Ottawa, Montreal, Quebec, and go right out to Halifax, Nova Scotia. And then I'll be coming back. I might just take a ride back, but this journey is probably going to take me a couple months to complete. And I'll be documenting the journey on video with my trusty iPhone and this laptop with the webcam. So the video quality won't be HD. I don't have a film team behind me. I won't have anybody filming me unless somebody decides to take a video of me or whatever, or what's going on. But I don't have a film crew. I'll be alone on this. But if anybody is willing to join me and create a group, a mobile march, you're not going to be turned down. Strength is definitely in numbers, and if you feel the same way as I do, then why not just join me, and we'll do this together. It'll increase awareness, especially, and draw more attention to the event if this is the case. Now, on this journey, I plan on speaking truth. Nothing but the truth. The way that companies and corporations rule us and cause divisions. There's starving people all over the world, and money is used to finance wars instead of feeding the hungry and building systems of sustainability. We have the technology to run off free energy, yet companies and private corporations decide to charge us for the things we need to survive, and that includes food, water, energy, warmth, shelter, clothing. These are necessities of life. If we do not have these necessities, then we are surely doomed, and we would die. And these people realize that, which is why they charge us for these essentials. And the cost of living rises every year, and the wages do not. People work jobs to support these same corporations that are destroying us, and we need to put an end to it. People are just thinking about money and the profit, and people choose profit over life, and that's the problem here. And that's the main problem that I'm trying to address here. There will be a page set up on the World Public Union website. It's www.worldpublicunion.org, and there will be links on there to keep up to date with what I'm doing. I'll be uploading videos wherever I hit Wi-Fi or have an internet connection to transfer my videos onto and make the videos. But essentially, this would be a web show or a TV series. Essentially, I'm trying to make get enough footage from this journey to compile a season of episodes where it shows my progress and what's being done publicly and the impact that it's having. So I'll be uploading periodically videos onto my YouTube page if it's not blocked. I hope it's not. But any help that anybody can offer this movement would be greatly appreciated. There will be a donation page set up, so if you would like to contribute to ensure that I have a meal to eat, or if it's bad weather, if I need a place to sleep, or any necessities for the survival, and there will be a donation page set up, so you may make a contribution if you'd like to do so. But my entire life I've essentially lived without money. I've lived in a struggle. My mom, my family as well. I was raised on very little money, so I've seen this since I was born, and I've lived without for quite some time. And I'm not doing this to make money. I'm not doing this to profit. I'm doing this to spread awareness, and I hope that people realize that and they see this. I'm not trying to make money off advertising or anything like that. I'm doing this to simply try to make an impact in the world before I leave. And I'm doing this for my children and your children and the children of the future all around the world. Not just in one single country, but I'm talking about the entire world here. If you look around the world, you'll see a lot of events happening, and it's been continuing to escalate for quite some time now. And it's not going to get any better unless we the people stand up and make a difference and speak out and take action against this. It's one thing to learn and know the information, as I stated earlier, and it's another thing to actually do something about it. And it's our actions that really make a difference. Whether it be emailing the government, emailing your local representatives to let them know your concerns, or creating a rally or a protest. Whether it be sharing information that you've learned, or creating websites, or making videos and documentaries like myself. There's lots of people around there that are trying to do everything they can to make a better world, and it's really important that we work together through this to make an impact. So Wednesday, July 17th, I will be departing Sudbury, and I'll be essentially sleeping out before I get to North Bay, and we'll see how it goes. So I really look forward to meeting a lot of people on this journey, and I'll be trying to document as much of it as I can. I'm not sure if there's any way I could get a better camera along the way. That would be really helpful to make better quality videos to share with you. But I'll definitely be keeping you guys up to date from now on about this, and I hope to see you out there. My name is Mark Howitt. I'm a documentary filmmaker, a musician. I operate a record label. I'm what you would call an activist, and I'm the founder of the World Public Union. I've been creating documentaries since 2009, the first one being The Formation of Resistance, and then it was followed by 2012 Revolution, and then an 8-hour segment about assassinations commentaries. I learned a lot of information about the government and corporations, the military, intelligence services, and basically what's going on around the world. And I was trying to piece together what I was seeing to try to figure it out and try to understand the agenda and what was going on in the world. And because of what I was learning, I decided to start a group called the World Public Union, and this idea came about in late 2010, 2011, called Evidence of Murder, which was later split into individual documentaries based on each case that was investigated in the film, or in the series, sorry. And then after that, I made a couple other documentaries, some of my more well-known work, which includes the James Holmes Conspiracy, Sandy Hook, the documentary, Eye of the Illuminati, and more recently, NWO Domino Effect. Based off the information that I was researching and investigating to create these documents, and I finally decided to start it. What it is a group of unions, not government unions, but publicly operated unions of people around the world that are aware of these issues and want to make a difference on a local level and therefore on a global level as well. I've been a musician as well for a long time, since 2000. The first band I was ever in was in 1997, actually. So I've been doing that for quite some time, and I actually started my own record label and was signing bands, and I've toured the United States and Canada a few times with one of the bands I was in called Woven Ancestry. But I was also signing bands, and the economy was really hard to deal with, especially when you're a musician and you're trying to help out other musicians and get them on the road to promote their music. Essentially though, the music industry has been on a decline for the last few years. Nobody's really buying CDs anymore. People